Good morning. We're going to do a quick shave today. Stirling finest badger knot and a CravingShaving handle. It's been soaking for a little while, so that's good. New soap to me. I guess maybe this is a new soap after all. It doesn't look like it's been lathered. Declaration Grooming, Nefertiti. And the notes on that one, it kind of does smell feminine, but I got it as part of a lot purchase, and so I'm going to try it before I pass it on to somebody else, assuming that I do. It was inspired by the Egyptian queen, renowned for her both shrewdness and beauty, with a fondness for perfume composed of honey, orchid leaf, Gothique incense, if I'm saying that right, and the seminal post-bop album by Miles Davis. So they're throwing a little humor in there. The notes are honey, orchid leaf, jasmine, Gothique incense, jazz cigarette, immortelle, oud, vetiver, and musk. Now I know I enjoy sometimes a little bit of orchid. The oud, vetiver, and musk might be a nice base, and I like honey, so we'll see if that the floral there is a little too much for my preferences. But I know the performance is going to be great because this is, I'm pretty certain with this labeling, it's going to be their Icarus base. And I'm going to scoop this one instead of brush load because I do anticipate passing it on to somebody else. So we will, pretty firm. There we go, about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Put that aside. Don't really get the honey. I'm getting a few florals, but really a lot of the musk and the other ingredients. So I like that. All right. The other equipment today is back to my Karve Christopher Bradley razor, one of my favorites really of all time. And this is an open comb head that I recently got. I got it while I was in austere August and had to use the same set all month, and so I had to just sit on this and wait until now to be able to try it. This is the open comb plate. It's the D plate. And so I think I started with B in the open comb, and I've been moving up. B, C, and now D, and I've really enjoyed each and every one. The touch that I get while I'm shaving is it feels like minimal and light, and it doesn't feel aggressive. The blade we're going to put in today is the one I used yesterday, the Personna 74. I know it's upside down. Fix that. The Personna 74, which has done really well. It's a vintage blade. We'll throw another blade in this razor, of course, in the future to be able to compare it with kind of more known and obtainable blades. As always, the Christopher Bradley razor does hold the razor perfectly every time because of those cylindrical posts. All right, ready to go with a D. All right, and I'm going to pause you while I splash my face a little bit as prep, and I'm going to press that scooped soap into the bottom of my lather bowl. All right, so we'll take the, this is the knot from the Stirling Finest. I don't like the fan knots quite as much, and so this is the bulb knot. The fan knots seem to not spread the lather around on my face quite as nicely. Now, people say that the fan knot has less backbone than the same hairs as a bulb, but I just have a hard time believing that, because if you're one of the brush fibers, and right next to you you've got a fiber, a bristle the same height as you, then which would be close to a fan knot, then its thick part goes all the way up the same distance as your thick part. Whereas if it's a bulb knot, then the one next to you toward the end is going to be smaller than you by a little bit. And so then, to me, that's like how strong is a 2x4 set up against another 2x4 of the same length. I think that's going to be stronger at the top if you try to push it sideways than if you have two 2x4s and one of them is 6 inches shorter than the other. And you try to push the top. You know, anyway. Just seems like to me if bristles are getting out of the way as the tips move, you know, head toward the outside of the knot, that that would give you less bend. I mean less rigidity. But a lot of people who've been shaving longer than me kind of say that I'm wrong, so I'm probably wrong. This knot is one that I'm kind of trying out because it's got some backbone to it. I do highly recommend the Stirling Finest brush for really anybody, especially beginners. It's a nice price point and it's got really soft tips. And if you like more firm backbone, then I don't know that you could do much better at the price point. So the question is here is, does the floral stand out in this scent stronger, that much stronger than the other scents? So we'll see. To me, it is. I think it's the jasmine. I think it is kind of coming up to me and being a little too dominant. Do a little finger test here. That might be ready to go. Slick, not a whole lot of cushion. It's still very, very slick. Let me try that. Since we're kind of in a rush today, I can always add more water. Water again on my face. 24 hours probably since the last shave. I do have, as usual, this location, hard water, and it is tepid. You know, for some weird reason, the first lather I ever did with this brush has been better than any other one. It's almost like it's too dense, but we'll see how it feels on the subsequent passes. Just felt more pliable and stuff on that first use. And I think I've even backed this guy off to where he's mounted about as high as he can get to allow for the most amount of flex and splay that this knot can give me. But also, it hasn't been used too many times, and so I probably need to keep going on it for a little bit before I render judgment. All right, vintage tungsten blade. I think this may be the 3rd or 4th time it's been used. Oh, that is nice. That is nice. It's not aggressive feeling. There's minimal blade feel. For the most part, it's just smooth. Wow. Now here's what immediately jumps to my mind. Because this is so comfortable, I also find the D in the solid bar to be comfortable. But in the solid bar, the E, it's like whatever the difference in the gap is, it steps over a cliff. And the E was quite too aggressive for me. Unless I had a really old blade in it. Now this is a really sharp blade, so maybe that's making part of the difference. But that's a good thing to know. All right, rinse. Wonderful first pass. It's, yeah, slicing through the hairs like butter. That's what we're talking about here. All right, let's lather up second pass. Rinse just now was creamy and awesome. Very silky slick. This is a soap base that has a separate focus other than just being a soap. And in this way, it's similar to Barrister and Mann Excelsior base, the new one from them too. They focus on that post-shave care, post-shave treatment to make sure your skin feels good after the shave. As a oily skin haver, this doesn't really matter to me because I think that's what balms and toners and things like that are for. And so I kind of feel like I'm wasting money when I buy a soap that is so focused, because they're adding other ingredients into the soap that are not soap. So you have to use more product to get the same amount of lather. Now you could make the argument that, hey, you might also be able to not use an aftershave, you know, something like that. So that could save you money. So you could do the math there if you wanted. There we go. All right, third pass. How's my time doing? Okay. I need to not waste time. But we're dealing with just a superior lather here. And I believe somebody was saying that they just got 1 or 2 months out of a tub of one of these new soaps. And especially since there's kind of a premium cost involved, I also kind of prefer to maybe stick with one that is primarily use soaps that are a little bit more focused on being soaps. Stirling, big favorite of mine. I've got the new to me soap, Ramblin' Man, and it is kind of new to their website as well. This is my winning stroke on this little section of hair right there. That is a direction that often is really what takes care of some super stubborn hairs. Well, again, the open comb just kind of dazzles me. Now, as I was saying earlier, what has jumped to my mind is I need to buy the E, because this guy's not too much. That would be crazy if the E worked for me in an open comb, but it wasn't really, it was too aggressive for me in the closed comb. That would be crazy. All right, I'm gonna rinse. All right, so it looks like I'll have to find the E open comb. A couple things. Something that I've seen a few times on the web now are people commenting about the brass razor having a smell to it because it's brass. And I can smell that, but I've never noticed it before. So to me, it's not a big deal at all. It's a non-issue. I've been using this a lot, more than yeah, I believe it's caught up and maybe surpassed almost all my other razors, including ones I've used for austere August and long series like that. And so I've used it a lot, and it's never been an issue. I've never noticed it. I have even used it a few times since someone said that, and I still didn't notice anything. Didn't notice anything today. But maybe if you've got a more sensitive sniffer than me, or you really don't like the smell, I like the smell. It's metal, you know, that's cool. So I guess maybe if I've smelled it, my brain's always just registered it as, you know, metal. Let's shave with some metal. But anyway, a lot of people are switching over to the stainless steel because instead of the brass, it'll last longer. It's a harder metal, but this one's cheaper. And so I'm always debating every time I, you know, see somebody sell their brass one. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with this guy, unless, I don't know, in a year or two, somebody puts up the stainless steel version for a crazy deal. I don't know. But it's also bead blasted like this one, and I believe that I am going to like the patina in the brass instead of that bead blasted look. I like stainless steel when it's polished, but when it's kind of matte looking, you know, that's not as attractive to me unless I were to polish it up. So anyway, so this is an amazing combo, and I just used the same blade recently in a Gillette Hybrid Tech, one of the famed Hybrid Techs that produces a shave that so many people call the best they've had. And for me, this one was better. That would require more experimentation to say it conclusively. But first impression is this one was smoother, less blade feel, but a more efficient cut. This area right here is looks better than it did yesterday when I used the hybrid. So for me at least, this razor, tremendous. And this is comfortable to use. So's the B and the C and this one, the D. I really, really enjoy this razor. Go figure. It's just minimal blade feel. The cutting was effortless and smooth. So that's just a marvel, a sight to behold. So how much lather do we have left? Probably 2 passes. How much water did we use? Pretty sure that's 2.5 teaspoons. So with this soap, I was wondering if there would be some note that popped up that was just super interesting and intriguing, that maybe took me to a different place, to where the other notes maybe were coming up to kind of mess with the jasmine. And that didn't really happen, and I didn't really expect it to happen, but I wanted to give it a shot and also bring it to you guys and describe it a little bit. It was not a super strong soap, and the floral was there, but there was so much interest to it. Other ingredients were coming into play that I did enjoy, that I wouldn't have a problem shaving with this if I, you know, had to, even though it is, you know, maybe it's riding the line right at the feminine camp there. But since there's so many awesome soaps that I like better, I think I will go ahead and pass this one on, let somebody else enjoy it. So there's that, and why don't we counter that with a little bit of something from Barrister and Mann, the Fougere Gothique Splash, and they just released this a few days ago. We need to get some more. They just released this a little bit ago as the still in the reserve base. It's definitely been something that people have called for. And so Barrister and Mann responded, and they brought a companion scent, the Angelique. And it's more, I think, citrus-based, like lemon and stuff. I don't think I'm going to pick it up, but I'll definitely watch the reviews, because I do love the reserve base. It's one of my favorites. All right. That smells nice. That smells nice. All right. Well, we learned something today. Amazing, how amazing the D plate is with this Personna Tungsten 74 blade in it. just wow. How that compares to a hybrid tech, in my opinion, a little better. Smoother and closer cut. Smoother feel and closer cut. All right, and we learned about Nefertiti. There we go. And so I definitely see how some guys out there are going to enjoy the Nefertiti. I really do, especially if they maybe had jasmine around their house when they were growing up, and that's just a strong memory that they enjoyed. And then with these other masculine notes that kind of come into play, I could see how that would be a excellent soap that they would just thoroughly have good experiences with. All right, well, this is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You take care. Have a good day.